my notes. Good evening. Welcome to the show. We're on time this time, which doesn't happen very often. So we're grateful. Jenna, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So we had a slow week in the world of WWE, but a pretty mad week in the world of AEW, which is good. So where shall I start? Let's start right here. So the start of Raw was absolutely wonderful because out came Sexy Red. I have put that she introduced the show next to it with yawn. I thought we'd seen the last of her, but clearly we haven't. There was then a little bit of a recap from Bad Blood. And again, I hope that would be the only time I would see her, but that wasn't the case. So she's the thing is, like, if she's a good like role model for younger people, or she's a good role model in general, then that's absolutely fine. But she's been arrested, so I don't really get why they keep having her on, to be honest. But hey ho, whatever brings in the money, I suppose, for them. CM Punk comes out. Oh my god, we've got an entrant to the Royal Rumble.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing, Lee?
How are you? I'm all right, mate. How are you?
All good, thank you. You've come in at a time where I'm having a little bit of a moan because Sexy Red came out again on the start of Raw, which was just wonderful. I'm sure you'll know all about her. Lee?
Oh. Oh, she's my favourite.
I know, big fan.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I did think.
I believe HBK is as well. Get me up to speed. What's happening?
Oh well, that we haven't got any further, to be fair.
Jenna, I love
you. Right, let's put the lights on because I'm sat in the darkness at the minute. Wait, there we are.
There he is.
So yeah, she came out again, introduced Raw, and then there was a recap from Bad Blood. Not that we hadn't seen that already, or anybody that watches it won't know what's happened. And then CM Punk comes out looking literally like he's on death row. He had a hand cast. He said it hurts to smile. He said, I'm alive, but I don't feel it. So, yeah, it wasn't looking good. Obviously, a little bit for dramatic effect. It was a little bit of a hard-hitting match, but I don't think he's as close to or as bad as that. But hey-ho. He said he doesn't have a clue what the future holds for him. He would like to say, I'll be back soon, but he just doesn't know. So I think we kind of already knew that before he came out and spoke anyway. Seth then came out.
You mean to say it wasn't real?
Yeah, he said he hadn't seen his, like I say, he said he hadn't seen his wife in a good 5 weeks or something. He'd been in an hotel. So
this is what happens when he gets to this company.
Yeah. So Seth then comes out. Everyone gets a little bit excited. They think maybe he's not leaving at all. Maybe he's gonna wrestle CM Punk, but he didn't. He went to the ring. I do think that's going to be a match in the future whenever he comes back. I do think that's a match, that will happen. Just when I'm not sure. Seth comes into the ring and wishes CM Punk to get better soon, because the sooner you get back, the sooner I can kick your ass and retire you for good. I thought that was quite cool, to be fair, with the iconic Seth Rollins laugh afterwards. A little bit like a clown mixed with something else, but it's a weird one, isn't it? It's like a comedic laugh.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than my Muttley laugh, to be fair.
But yeah, it's I don't know, it's a weird one because everybody gets so excited when these people come back. And yeah, it's exciting and all, but I'm more excited when somebody new like joins rather than somebody that I know he's a big draw. I get that.
Best in the world, mate.
Yeah, okay.
You didn't sound convinced there, mate.
Yeah. Leave that one up for debate. So he brings the camera really close up to him. What's going on here? I've got an echo in my own house. Maybe I've got ghosts. Who knows?
Oh, brilliant. Love a bit of supernatural.
So he brings the camera right up to him and then gives a warning to Bronson Reed saying, I want you 1v1. Name the time, name the place. Although this time I'll be expecting you and not being blindsided. And landed on 6 or 7 times, which I can't imagine was very nice.
Sounds like a good time.
I don't think I would sign myself up for it, to be honest. I can't lie to you.
Fair.
If there was a considerable amount of money on the other end, I'd maybe consider.
Yeah.
But I still don't think it would be wise. We then had Jey Uso versus Xavier Woods for the title. Jey Uso retained. Braun Breaker came out afterwards and super spares the living daylights out of everybody, which is quite cool because I think him losing the title so quickly made him look a little bit less badass, but I think he's reached the levels of badass again after doing that. So that's good. Then there was a stipulation, which I was meant to check if it ever happened before, but I don't actually think it would have done. I'm just going to double check.
Go on, I'm your wrestling historian, mate. What do you need to know?
If there has been a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match before this evening.
Donnybrook match? Oh, my goodness. I've heard of Queensberry Rules matches, and I've heard of all sorts of stipulations. No, I don't think I've heard of the old-fashioned Donnybrook. Not in WWE terms, anyway.
So it's been done once before in 2022. It was invented by Sheamus, of course. And it was between...
Right, okay. Modern day.
Was against Drew McIntyre in July of that year. And then I'm not reading the rest of the article. So basically what happens, for anybody that hasn't seen it, there's basically a bar in the corner, well, a makeshift bar, of course, with loads of beer barrels and beer kegs surrounding it. There was a cricket bat to keep up with the cricket bat that's been going on the last couple of weeks, shillelaghs and all sorts of other random stuff. Although those things weren't really used, which is a little bit bizarre. I don't know. Go on, Lee.
No, I'm having visions of being back at AEW at Wembley, mate. Cricket bats.
Yeah. Well,
of
apples.
Course apples. Yeah. Of course, I'm talking about Jericho and what's the guy's name? Taz's son.
Hook.
Hook. Thank you, Jenna.
Out of nowhere. What a film as well that is.
Yeah.
So the only time it actually really was used was they positioned two tables next to each other, and they were both on top of the massive barrels. And Sheamus put Pete Dunne through it. Well, kind of. It had to do with table spots now. You don't really know who comes off worse because they both go through it exactly the same time, and it both hurts exactly the same. So, so Sheamus did put him through both these tables, doing a white noise to him. It did look really cool, to be fair. He did go and pick up the win. There was two more matches. There was the match that I feel like I've seen so many times, but they were actually put together this time. Unholy Union and Pure Fusion, who have wrestled each other for the last 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 weeks on and off.
I mean, that's the big program, to be fair, isn't it?
On Raw and SmackDown, I feel like it's been every single week, just different iterations. They've kind of split it up. So certain members will wrestle each other, then they've done it together. But they're actually together this time against Lyra Valkyria, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, and Zelina Vega and Natalia. So it's quite cool to see Kaden Carter and Katana Chance because they're both NXT superstars. So that was their Raw debuts. So that was really cool. Lyra Valkyria's team won. We then had the main event that's been hyped for the last, 5 or 6 weeks. Gunther keeps saying no, and last week he decided to say yes. So, no surprises. Gunther did retain. Cody Rhodes came out at the end to go face-to-face to set up their match that we're all so excited for at Crown Jewel.
The Bejazzled Championship. Yes, that's
yeah.
right.
I've been counting down the days and the hours till I get to see that match. It's going to be pure magic. It is just going to be one of those for the ages.
Can I just say at this point, I'm liking Jenna more and more because she laughs at the silliest things I say.
I just laugh.
I love it.
I don't even watch WWE, but I just laugh at it all.
To be honest, I'm used to just getting ignored, so I appreciate it.
I just laugh.
If I had a
don't know what to
tiny
say,
violin,
so I just sit here and laugh.
if I had a tiny violin in the comments, I would, but I haven't got one set up, I'm afraid.
So good.
But the weird thing about this week was I was watching Raw and I sat there and I thought, well, is this done? It was only an hour and 36 minutes this week for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, they trimmed the timing, didn't they?
What's going on with that?
36?
They trimmed Raw to 2 hours, didn't they?
Hour and 36.
Oh.
Are you
trimmed
taking
it to
away
2 hours.
commercial breaks?
I don't know.
Because Raw used to be 3 hours, but they've made it so it's 2 hours.
Well,
If
this
that's
is
the
only
case-
an hour and 36 this week, so
Oh.
it's not.
I think that's the case. Like Raw is going to be 2 hours until the Netflix thing
Yeah.
kicks over. I think you guys probably know more about that than I would, but it's quite a refreshing change. It's just a shame that they've put on 3 hours on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, that's just completely pointless. I don't get it because we know, unfortunately, that all of the time and since the beginning of the time, Raw has had the more packed and stacked lineup that just are theirs. So it makes sense to make that one longer and then SmackDown shorter. So I don't know why they've done the change. Like it's almost like they're trying to make SmackDown better, but by making it longer, you've made Raw worse. So why would you then think that it's going to be better for SmackDown to do the same? I just don't know who uses logic in WWE, to be honest.
Logic is a very loose word in wrestling, I think you find, Sam. And in terms of that, it's all quite complicated, isn't it? In terms of the TV deals and all that sort of thing, being that they've got that short-term extension on the American TV deal until Netflix comes over. So basically, if they're still broadcasting off Fox, which I think they are, it means that basically Fox have all the cards until they, if they want to keep their television program on air, they have to follow their rules. That's the way, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
But again, that still doesn't justify a 3-hour SmackDown, does it? But
No.
Because
Because I think making Raw longer has actually hampered that product as well. It's made when you make something 3 hours, there's no way that you can have 3 hours every week that's stacked. So some of it is going to have to be filler. So with more time, it just means more filler, which is not good. And I think that's something they need to be careful of, because obviously the whole idea of going onto Netflix is getting more eyes on the product. But if the product isn't good, people won't watch it. There's so much on Netflix that people can watch that if they're somebody's going to take the time out to think, actually, do you know what? I want to see what this wrestling is about. If they make it all rubbish, them spending all that money on getting Netflix is going to be rendered pointless because they could have just kept the network. So they've got to be really careful, I think. I know they've got Royal Rumble and stuff as soon as they launch and stuff like that, but I do think they've got to be I've got to think lots about it. I have 3 lines about NXT. Obafemi lost his title to Tony D'Angelo, which was, I don't know, a little bit weird, a little bit okay, and a little bit of I don't really know. So that was that one. Then this is such a name for a tag team. So they've now combined the two together, and Nathan Fraser and Axiom are now called Fraxium.
Have they not been called that for ages now?
I don't know, maybe.
We've always been calling them that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not amazing then. Jenna's also got a really good thing of finding the flaws that I have in my knowledge.
She's a fact checker. I like this gimmick. I think it's good.
They've always been called
She's our very own Tempest.
So they moving on from that again, like we did last time, they did retain the titles, and then Randy Orton was in the main event, which was as bizarre as it sounds. He faced Javon Evans. Obviously, Randy Orton won. I just don't really know what the point of it is.
Wasn't that the match where they botched the RKO or something? I thought it was a really big botch.
That's right.
In that match.
I think he went off for. Sorry, this is one thing of NXT I've actually seen, and didn't he go over for his finish or something? And I think he was supposed to get caught by the RKO,
and he just didn't.
But it didn't quite go to plan. But instead of him doing a Kofi Kingston on it and saying he was stupid, he just got on with it like a proper pro that Randy is these days. And he said
after the match,
the
other guy was
he actually
apologising.
raised his hand.
Yeah.
He was very apologetic, and he said, "Look, don't you worry about it. You're the man and stuff." And I think that was quite cool. Actually, it's nice to see a human side of Randy Orton. Who would have thought it?
A human side.
Yeah, he's
a human.
I often think
he's
he's
grown
a
up.
bit...
I think it's what I mean.
Yeah, I often think of him as like a human lizard
or a viper.
Yeah. And I think he is going to live forever, to be honest. I think he's one of those people. I think he's going to be wrestling still when he's 95, and then by then they'll have probably found a way to preserve life for thousands.
See, WrestleMania 80, John Cena against Randy Orton.
wheeled out in wheelchairs to start the match.
Wheelchairs on a pole match.
Yeah, helped into the ring by lots of the medical staff. They have
accompanied by oxygen masks.
They have to keep the people around the ring like they do in certain matches, just so that they don't fall out of the ring. It's going to be a sight to behold. This, it really is.
Wow, what a sight to behold! Book it.
I have ramps to get
Cowards.
into the ring instead of stairs.
I wonder who the special guest referee is going to
We'll
be.
do them up.
It's going to be a little lift. It's a hydraulic lift. No. I think this has got a bit silly all of a sudden. I have this habit of doing this on this channel. Sorry about that.
It's all good. We had next up. I can take my little banners off. I'm really trying to use them, to be honest. AEW was on a Tuesday this week because it was Title Tuesday.
Wow.
But
Amazing.
there wasn't.
How many titles on the line?
There wasn't many. There was one.
One.
One title on the line.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. Great work.
It's just as I was watching. As I was watching it, I was thinking there surely must be another title on here. There surely must be. And then I got to the end and I thought, well, there was only one. I don't know why you can call it Title Tuesday with one title being defended, but hey,
they like alliteration, Sam. That's what it is, mate. That's what it is. Alliteration. It's like Guna Gathering, right? We like to play on the two start of the start of the words.
But at least on Guna Gathering, we talk about what we're supposed to talk about. We talk about the football
and wrestling,
yeah, a little bit. But if you're calling it a Title Tuesday, then you've got to have I suppose it's awkward timing, isn't it? We don't want any of the titles to change before WrestleDream at the weekend. No. So we're in a position where we can't use any of the titles. So we need to use at least one. So there was a match between Hologram and Commander. Hologram went 14-0. Daniel Garcia addresses his future and comes out and says, I'm going to stay where the best wrestle in AEW. There was a number one contenders match for the women's title shot at WrestleDream, which Willow Nightingale won. Jay White beat someone that I've never heard of before.
That's
Mercedes
called a jobber, Sam.
Yes. He was called Cody Chun. I don't know if either of you have heard that name.
I've got all his merch and everything.
I knew it.
Number one fan.
Big fan. He's got a couple of posters on his wall. One side there's Sexy Red, and then the other side there's Cody Chun. So,
how old do you think I am, Sam?
Anna's telling you, can you take them posters down now, Lee? They've been up there for so long. You're not 5 anymore.
To be fair, it makes a change from Peppa Pig.
That is true. There was the title actually being defended. Mercedes Moné did retain that title against someone called Emi Sakura.
I'm a big fan of it. Her as well.
But,
as soon as you said Emmy, I thought Martinez.
Yeah. Oh no! Don't mention that name.
Sorry.
There's banned footballers. Brian Danielson and Wheeler Yuta then faced Claudio and Pac, which was a completely pointless match. I've got no ideas on why that needed to happen, other than to fill a main event. Go on.
So they did that to build for WrestleDream, Sam.
I have a better reason why they did that.
No,
I buzz in.
WrestleDream though.
Am I allowed to buzz in?
Go on, buzz in.
It's showing that Yuta's still siding with Danielson because he's in the middle with the Pac and Claudio, and then Danielson. So it's showing he's still affiliated with Danielson.
Right.
It's showing he's picking his sides.
I'm tapping in.
Whose side is he on?
That did change. Just
yes, it did. But they're still trying to show it in the build-up to make it more dramatic when he does change.
That was spoiler alert for the next.
It makes it more dramatic when he does change sides.
The wonderful thing about SmackDown again was they actually had more titles on SmackDown than they did on AEW Title Tuesday.
Wow.
They should have called it Smashing SmackDown.
To be honest, that sounds like a good name for a SmackDown only pay-per-view, to be honest.
There you
Like they
go.
used to do in the day when they used to split it up between Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views.
I mean, Triple H likes the social media, doesn't he? So he'd be watching.
Oh, did you get a chance to see when him and Shawn Michaels was using all those, like, all the words that were down with the kids?
You know, that's a throwback. You know that, don't you?
Is it?
That's a throwback to the promo way back in the 90s, which got WWE in so much trouble. Where they literally took the mickey out of the network. They said you cannot push the boundaries in using these words, like, you know how the Attitude Era was, right? And you know, DX was telling everybody to suck it and all that sort of business, right? That what HBK and Triple H were doing there was a throwback to that.
Okay. It just made for a great bit of, well, I don't know. I half laughed and cringed all at the same time. It was a bizarre one.
If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, Sam, I will share the knowledge with you later on. There's this particular clip I need to share with you, I think.
Oh, that's
where we will not use words like arse and beep and especially beep.
To be honest, over the last couple of weeks, we've said some really controversial things. So, really controversial.
That's how it broadcasts. And Sam, to be fair, you know,
yeah,
me, right?
Yeah.
Keep it PG, mate. You know.
Yeah, we've said all sorts towards different people. So, moving swiftly on, SmackDown was. I don't know, kind of a little bit more eventful. So Jimmy Uso starts the show again. Everybody goes wild. So Roman joined his cousin in the ring, and he made the crowd acknowledge Jimmy. Jimmy then implied it was time to reconcile with Jay, but Roman didn't seem to want to. So it's all a little bit of like, you're not my friend anymore.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah, literally. That's it. I'm taking the ball home. This game's finished. Then there was an LA Knight against Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
Which was the first of the title matches. LA Knight did retain in that match. Then my two favourites are on next. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair were against Lash Legend and Jakara.
You got this.
Go on, mate.
I believe in you.
Jakara.
I believe in Sam Wilson. He's nailed it. Good work.
So, Jade and Bianca did retain that, surprisingly. Not. Naomi versus Nia Jax was next. Naomi defeated Nia Jax. And then there was Solo against Jimmy Uso. So we're not out of the Bloodline main events on SmackDown yet.
Oh, good.
Still going with that. So
you're a big fan of that, aren't you, mate?
Oh, massive. Absolutely riveting. So
You're picking up my sarcasm too much, I tell you. It's ridiculous.
I just think I think it's just WWE, to be honest. They seem to have the same things over and over again until it's gone on for that long. I don't know. They just keep things going. This storyline's been going on for like 4 or 5 years, hasn't it? If not more.
It's all right. Plenty of time for a bit more.
Okay. So then we got to the element of the week that I was really excited for, and that was WrestleDream.
Fantastic. Here we go.
I'm sure you've seen every single minute of this, Lee. with it
Yes.
being 4-hour pay-per-view. So, overall, I really enjoyed it. There was only 1 or 2 matches that I thought were quote unquote quite rubbish, but even then they weren't so bad. We started off with a Jay White and Adam Page. I didn't think I would enjoy this one, but I was very surprised. It was a really physical contest. Page dominated the match while the crowd were all behind Jay White. White picked up the win by countering a buckshot into a Blade Runner. Fantastic match to start off the night. Jenna, have any views? I
Huh?
don't know why I did there.
What, the Jay White match?
Yes.
I don't have anything to say. It was
Okay.
what I expected. I didn't fall asleep. I did it. I
What?
survived the first match.
Yeah, to be fair, you do
Usually
stay
I
up.
fall asleep during the first match and then wake up like halfway through the card.
Yeah, I could
Okay.
not stay up till 1 a.m.
I've survived the whole show this time.
So that would be 1 a.m. and it was 3 hours and 59 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
so,
it ends at like 5, I think.
nah,
Or
Nice.
4.
no,
It was
Happy
either
when
5
I'm
or
getting
4.
up for work, by the way, guys.
that's
Nice.
not for me. I was very, very much in bed and asleep. This would have been.
I like the fact you added and asleep.
In bed, but not asleep.
Little details. Little
Yeah.
details.
That's what you. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Then the next one, the next match, even though it was the following morning, I did actually nap through this match, but I did see the back end of it. So, so I did see, yeah, and then I went back and did watch it. This was from Mariah May and Willow Nightingale. There's no guesses for who actually won the match,
Of course.
but I have theories. So, well, not
Austin
theories. More opinions. So, fast-paced back and forth match with both coming across very strong. It's very energetic, aggressive, and competitive match. Turn off the phones. I would really like to see Willow in the title picture for some time, as I do think she deserves to be there, especially for how harsh AEW were with the title reign when she got it, defended it for the first time, and then lost it to my favorite wrestler in the entire world. And
it's bus time.
I don't know how she's still got hold of 2 titles as well. One that she never ever really like fights for. She just kind of is there. Obviously she did retain the title, but I'm hoping that Willow stays around a picture. I don't know which one it is. I see Mariah May holding on to that title for a long time, so maybe not that one. I would love for her to beat Mercedes Moné, but that's not happening. She's going to be the champion for the rest of the career in AEW by the looks of it.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that was a match that I did go back and watch. The next one was Jack Perry against Shibata.
Jack Perry, my
Shibata.
favorite.
Yeah, that's the one.
Shibata, yeah, that's right.
So I thought this was an okay match.
Couldn't get me watch the Jack Perry match. No. No.
Perry getting buried. Love it.
I
loved the ending more than I loved the match because it was Jack Perry in it.
See, I did think somehow they both worked in the match. There was a lot of Jack Perry spitting at the floor and spitting at people. And I'm really not into all this because it just looks grim. It really does look horrible. Like, in football, it's kind of a thing that happens. It's always happened. But I don't see it ever really in wrestling. AEW started to do it. Like the independents do it, but that's a little bit different. But I certainly never see anybody in WWE spitting. And I just think it looks horrible. So there was something missing for the match. I'm not quite sure what it was, but then the ending happened, and that was really poor. So maybe that's what it was missing, a good ending. But then it was actually saved by
it was
about
saved.
46 returns all at the same time. So let me make sure I do it.
Yes, I know what this is. Yes, I do know what this is.
Get it in the correct order.
So
You got this,
Shibata
sir.
was saved by Daniel Garcia, quickly followed by MJF to try and attack Daniel Garcia. Then out of all the madness, out came Adam Cole to a huge pop,
Hey,
chased
Adam
MJF
Cole.
out of the ring. So that all happened in the space of like a couple of minutes. So that was pretty nuts.
Cole's
So
been
then
out for
I have
absolute.
thought-
Sorry, Sam. Cole's been out for
Go on.
absolutely ages, hasn't he?
He just
Yeah.
took a tumble. He just
See,
had a tiny little tumble.
See, that's one that I do actually get that big, oh my god, he's back moment because
Yeah.
he's been out for so long. Seth's
Yeah,
only
he
been
had a
out,
tumble.
Seth's only been out for
He
a
just
couple of
fell
months.
over.
He might have needed some time
He
off.
fell over. He fell over.
I suppose that's an easy way though. Like if a wrestler just needs time off for whatever reason, the
Yeah,
easiest
he
way
was moving house.
is like,
Oh,
He
yes,
did move
good
house
point.
during the process.
It's a good
oh,
point.
maybe he went dog shopping with CM Punk. So,
Stunned silence.
so I have put 2 question marks. I know me and Jenna spoke about this, and she's not going to like one of them. So
Oh no!
MJF versus Garcia 2 question mark.
Oh
Or
no!
Jack Perry versus Garcia for the TNT title. So
That one, that option.
I knew
want
the
that
first
one.
one was going to be very good.
Get
Um,
Danny away from MJF.
See, I do think I enjoyed that last match, so I would want to see it again. But it's kind of a pointless one.
Yeah.
Oh, Devon's not holding back.
Yes. Yes, he does.
CM Punk.
He
CM
does.
Punk.
It's good to see you in the chat. Hope you're well. Any further thoughts on all of that madness?
Free Danny Garcia from MJF. Free the man.
Well, yeah, I do think because they now probably realize how sought after he is with all that WWE interest and stuff. So I do think they'll have.
Do more with him.
I do think him and John Moxley would be really good. I do think him and Darby Allin would be really good.
Jack Perry. Please. They sent him to New Japan for a bit and I couldn't handle it.
So we moved on to my favourite match of the night, for sure, was the triple threat between Ospreay, Ricochet, and Takeshita.
Yay.
I told you this was going to be good, didn't I?
I have to say, I come off the back of that and give it very strong praise at the start and say it's one of the most enjoyable matches that I've seen all year. All 3 came out of the match looking really strong. There were moments where Will and Ricochet worked together, and other times when they did and they just got both wiped out. This was great storytelling. Lots of high flying from Will and Ricochet mixed with hard hitting of Takeshita made for a great match. There was a moment where Don Callis was in the corner with a screwdriver. Will saw it coming and went to F up Don. But he
Sorry,
wasn't
what
able-
was that? He went to
You did what now?
F up.
Oh,
I thought I'd be like edgy. And
Wow.
the rated R superstar.
So then out comes somebody in a hood. No, it wasn't the Grim Reaper. It was Carl Fletcher. He blindsided Will, hit him with a
Hooray.
screwdriver for Takeshita to hit a running knee to become the new champ.
Hooray!
I'm going to come to your second comment when it makes more sense to Don, but I will bring up this one. They should have let Takeshita win without. I think so as well, to be honest.
I agree.
I do think that it kind of took away from what Takeshita did in the match a little bit, almost like although he well deserving of the win, it's almost like it gives other people going, oh well, he needed the help of Carl Fletcher and Don Callis to do it, although he didn't. But that's what people can now say, if that makes sense.
Kind of makes the L a bit easier on Will, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And everyone in the match actually came out the match looking really good as well. Obviously Ospreay doing Ospreay things that we've always been impressed with. Ricochet needed a big match because he's obviously just come into to AEW, and Takeshita as well. Doing what he does best and gets the win. So.
Yeah, we then I was like WTF and was like, why is
more edgy content?
And I was like, what is Carl Fletcher doing? They've got a big bromance. What's going to happen? And
He's having a great time.
And then Jenna was like, oh, they're going to have I've got.
It's so obvious. I don't get how no one can see what they're doing with him. No one gets it, but I do. And then
I didn't get it. So
how do you guys not get it?
I got it, Jenna.
They're pushing him up to be a big single star, then they're going to drag Mark Davies back into it and have him team up with Will, bring him back into the Empire, and bosh. It's just their way to bring Mark back.
Boom.
Little Aussie Open, come on, bring back the Aussies.
Aussie.
I mean, they kicked Carl out the group chat, but still, he'll be back in there. We have faith.
So after the height of that match, we had a 2 out of 3 falls match, which has to be one of the greatest matches I have ever seen in my entire living, breathing career. No, it was actually quite good. It was.
I just don't like the outcome.
It was okay. It was okay. It was just okay. So the match was between Hologram and the Beast Mortis. Hologram. Mortos.
How dare you mispronounce my favourite's name? How dare you?
Is what it is.
How dare you?
It's like having a real life, because Joe Rogan is somebody in the background checking all the facts and stuff, doesn't he?
Actually, that's not quite right. You know what I mean?
Pronounce it correctly next time.
Well, I'm going to do it again. So, Hologram and the Beast Mortis is.
Can you not read it? Where are you getting the I from?
I've typed it.
Quick, get the shovel.
I've typed an I, so
it's an O. Where have you got the I from?
I've typed an I, so that's what we're going to go with. Before this match, we had the whole thing with Swerve Strickland. He came out, and MVP came out and said, well, are you going to come and join us? And he was like, no, I'm all right, thanks.
He wants his coffee. He's
Prince Nana did come into the arena before he'd even come out, said, oh, make sure you buy my coffee. And he was literally jumping around the ring as if there was something in that coffee that shouldn't have been in the coffee. So,
what would that be?
I don't know,
Sugar.
to be honest. Maybe. It's something a little bit stronger than that, but there we go. It's the same. It might be the same color, actually, to be honest, but there we go. So
Sweet X.
Yeah, it was the like those little the sweeteners you get. So there was this match, obviously. Hologram won the first fall. He lost the second fall and then won the third fall. And now he's on a 15-0 run in AEW.
Hooray.
Which is, I don't know. It's I don't know what it is. It just is.
It's a streak, Sam.
It is. So we next had Darby Allin against Brody King. I wasn't really expecting much from this match, but I was pleasantly surprised, actually. So there was quite a cool spot early on where Brody King had picked up the ring steps, put them on top of Darby Allin, and then walked on them and then stamped on the top. So you can imagine. Yeah, you can imagine that would have really hurt. As I was watching it, I was thinking, yeah. Do you know when wrestlers, but when people say wrestling's fake, I wish I could tell them to do that and then see if it's fake.
Yeah, that would tell them.
Darby Allin then jumps over these ring steps, but gets taken out of midair by a punch, which was great. Darby then comes into the match with a few high flying moves, but Brody takes over again. But of course, as always, Darby Allin refuses to stay down. Even if he gets hit by a bus, he decides to carry on.
It's the bus that gets broken down, not him.
Yeah, exactly. So he is then on the top rope with Brody. He pushes him off onto the stairs that were still at ringside, and then does his famous coffin drop on him. Brody just beats the 10 count, so he gets into the ring at the count of, well, it was the referee said 9, and at that point the wrestler goes, "Oh Jesus, I've got to get back in," and then the referee slows the count down, and it takes like another 5 seconds to get to 10, and then you go.
It's difficult counting to 10, isn't it?
9.
Anytime now.
Yeah, beats the 10 count. And then Darby Allin's ready again to hit another coffin drop on him to actually win that match. At the start of the match, when he was getting absolutely annihilated, I had no idea how he was going to end up winning, but he did. We may be off air, Devon, in about 15 minutes because I have been ushered into another show regarding women's football, which is going to be a movie, I think. It's going to be a lot of people a little bit annoyed.
Oh dear.
So coffin drop is not a great move. I don't know. See, I kind of like it because he doesn't he can't see where he's actually landing, if that makes sense. He knows he's done it hundreds of times, but I think the element of him turning around and not being the same way as the move makes it different to anything else.
Makes him stand out, doesn't it? That's what makes him stand out. That being a complete nutcase jumping off a skateboard.
Yeah, I do think it's like part of his overall brand. I think that's why he's so successful. He's got this overarching brand that is just him as well. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody quite like him. So I think that's why he's so good at what he does.
It's just a shame that when what happened to him and when they kind of rushed the Jack Perry match at Wembley, wasn't it? Obviously, there was reasons behind doing that, but it was felt like a bit of a waste.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah, it did. It was one of the ones that I was looking forward to on that card, but then looking back on it, one of the ones that was probably one of the worst. So, yeah, it's a bizarre one, isn't it? Because I think that could have been. I think I would have rather have had that right at the start and had one of the 600 trios matches that we had to run a little bit shorter, at some stage. But yeah, we don't book the stuff, do we? So
can't contrary to popular opinion.
Yeah, I think we should, but
Yeah.
we next had Private Party against Young Bucks. I don't know. I've just seen Young Bucks wrestle that many times now that I know exactly what's going to happen. It's like John Cena back in the day, where we would get absolutely pummeled for 90% of his match, and then come out and in that last sort of 10% of his match find a way to win. That's what Young Bucks seem to do. But then everyone goes, "Oh well, they're the best tag team in the world," and I'm like, I'm not sure on that one.
Sam, did you see the Bucks tweet?
No.
So so many people were. I think someone tweeted, "Oh, so many people were rooting backstage for Private Party to go over," and the Bucks quote retweeted it and said, "That doesn't work for us, brother."
For God's sake. It's just that it's weird though, isn't it? Like, because they have something of a say in the company as well. It's almost like if they get it their own way, they'll be tag champs forever. Like, it's a weird one, isn't it? So, yeah, honestly, I was rooting for Private Party to win as well. And then just back to Darby Allin. He's only like £100. It's like your little brother jumping off onto you with his back turned. A bit of backyard wrestling there. So it was okay. They've both come out the map well. I think it probably helps Private Party more than it does the Bucks. There was genuine moments when I thought that that Private Party were going to win. But yeah, it didn't happen.
I mean, everything was set up for Private Party to win.
Then
unfortunately, they just didn't. So, what I wonder on this one is where the Private Party going forward. Do they? Because they're sort of, will they become champions and all this? Does this mean that they might sort of split up and going to become like individual acts potentially?
Yeah, I think that's what the Bucks rely on. The Bucks rely on moves that they can do together that look aesthetically pleasing. Their actual wrestling, when it's just them on their own, isn't that great. But as a tag team, the only thing importantly that you do well is to work together. So in that aspect, they work.
Yeah,
it's just because they've been title holders so many times at AEW since AEW's creation. It's just kind of, I don't know, it feels like you've seen it 600 times already.
Is Devon suggesting they need some advice from some fashion police?
Yes. Yes, they do. The amount of pearl necklaces I've seen, what are you on?
To be honest, there was a worse bit of kit that was worn by Swerve Strickland, and he looked like he'd just got off the plane for Milan Fashion Week and came in. It was dreadful.
I mean, I'm your man to talk to about fashion, aren't I? So,
100%. So, coming back to, that's it. That's just what they need. A uniform of a supermarket and a hood from a jacket. That's just exactly what they need.
Exactly. And all of a sudden, I'm AJ Styles.
So,
I look just like him.
Bringing up Devon's comment. Oh, I did see something that was really cool. So at like a fan event, they allowed people to pick which wrestler they would like to do an entrance of. And so everyone was around watching the crowd, and there was some amazing ones, to be fair. Bringing up Devon's comment, Jericho needs to retire, and AEW matches need to be a 15-minute time limit for those mid-card matches.
I can imagine the ring announcer. This match is going to be a 15-minute time limit for these mid-carders.
Yeah,
there will be no disqualification. sense.
See, it's a little bit of a weird one because Jericho, as he is now, I would say yes, he needs to step back. They need to find some way before he gets to that stage to take him away from this silly gimmick that they've got him on at the minute, because they need to give him a proper fitting moment for when he does step away. They can't keep him like this and then let him retire on this because it just goes up in smoke. So they need to find a way to come away from the character he's in, but it's a weird one. It's a bizarre one now because even his music comes out and you're just thinking, what on earth?
You're back on the music thing, aren't you? You're just upset you didn't sing Judas.
Yeah, I am, to be honest. I really am. So this one is really, really short. I've put probably the poorest match of the night. It was very slow and uneventful. Question as to why it was put on at the co-main event. It just makes no sense. Briscoe retained the title, which I'm pleased about. I didn't want them to give it to Jericho, so I'm really pleased about that.
You can't just whiz through the fact that Jericho did the Briscoe brother finishing move.
Yeah. The J driver or something.
That's correct. Yes.
After
everything that they said to each other, I thought it was quite a nice touch to do in the match.
Yeah. He did it at the end to actually finish the match as well. So, that was that match. I don't think it was that bad. I just think it was on a night where all the other matches were better than it, so it looked bad. I don't think it was necessarily that bad. Yeah. So then we got to the main event. At this point, even the commentators and the people that were like reviewing about it were saying the crowd are really struggling to like have the same energy that they had at the start of the pay-per-view now. I suppose that's the thing when you have like 4-hour pay-per-views. So before
that coffee from earlier.
Yeah, the Prince Nana coffee. Bryan Danielson was coming out to Final Countdown and they brawled as Final Countdown continued to play. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this. They've done this a few times with different things. And I just think it's pointless. So they kind of strangled each other a little bit with cords and all sorts before the bell actually rung. The bell did ring, and some reports I was reading said that this is the angriest they've ever seen Jon Moxley. And I'm not sure what they were watching because it certainly wasn't the angriest he's ever been. But each to their own, I suppose. There was interference from Marina Shafir. Is that what she's called? She interfered when the ref's back was turned. She also removed some of the padding at ringside to expose the concrete floor. Eventually, the ref decided that Bryan Danielson could no longer compete with Jon Moxley. He then became the new champ. Out then comes Wheeler Yuta and Darby Allin to save Bryan Danielson, but then Wheeler Yuta turns on Darby Allin.
He didn't turn on Darby.
That's what my report said.
He turned on Bryan.
Yeah.
Well, he turned on Bryan then. Moxley then handed Wheeler Yuta a plastic bag. I'm not a whole fan of this plastic bag thing. They've done it before. Like, find something else to do.
It's dangerous, kids. Don't play with plastic bags.
The difference is, though, Wheeler saved Bryan from the plastic bag the first time, and now he's shoving him in one. It's the imagery.
Amazing.
Making it like that.
Thrilled. Whoa, well, that's completely changed my perspective now.
Right.
So there was that whole suffocating Bryan Danielson thing again. Darby Allin at the same time was duct taped to the ropes and forced to watch Castagnoli crush Bryan Danielson's neck in a chair, which was just wonderful. If he hadn't gone through enough already, they just thought, let's give him another reason for his neck to be completely ruined for the rest of his life. So that spells the end of Bryan Danielson. So it would seem.
Certainly full time anyway, Sam.
Yeah,
and
I
do you
do
know
think-
what? It's quite cool.
I'm going to have to sort of speak a little bit because my phone's going to die any
That's all
second.
good.
But it was kind of nice. He had the big moment against Swerve at Wembley, something he never asked for. It was kind of brutal to watch when we were there, but at least he had that moment. And it's kind of nice that, okay, so he was very giving in the way he went out in the WrestleDream. And it's kind of a nice callback to when Danielson, as Daniel Bryan, as the SmackDown general manager, confronted John Moxley dressed as the Mountie. Because then he suggested that the Mountie always gets his man.
Yeah, I do think I would like to see him involved in like the booking of the show. I would like to see his old ideas for what he would like AEW to look like transfer to the booking of the show. I do think that fresh ideas always are good. He's certainly got a wrestling brain that's immense. So I think
At least it won't get battered a bit more now, for at least for a little while.
I think he needs to pack it in a little bit, to be honest. I think he's done enough and achieved enough. And you've got to think about the rest of your life, haven't you? And he doesn't want to be in a place where he's in that much pain that he can't do the just normal day-to-day life stuff with his family and what else. So I do think it is probably wise for him to step away. And yeah, I do think
Don't put it back myself.
See, it's a weird one. I don't wish anyone to be really hurt on one of these shows, but I think that's what kind of AEW is, isn't it? It is that kind of edgy sort of wrestling that everybody else is a little bit frightened to do, unless you're just a backyard wrestling or just a savage promotion. Like that is their sell. I think that is what draws me to AEW. It's that difference to WWE. Quickly before I go and before your battery dies, let me bring this banner up quickly.
That's very kind, Sam. Thank you very much. If you don't know who I am, Gooner Lee Meads, Lee Meadows from Gooner Gathering. Check my channel out if you like. If you're an Arsenal fan, long suffering like I am, or even if you're not, if you're a football fan, just come over and have a good time on our channel. That's what it's all about.
Hey, thank you for jumping on.
My pleasure as always. Nice talking to you both. I am going to have to jump out before you finish it off, so
That's all
enjoy
good.
the rest of it. See you later. All right.
Bye.
Nice talking to you. Ta-da. Bye.
We have got time for a part of the show. Hey,
Yes! Hooray! Because we had my favourite New Japan show of the year. In my humble opinion, it was actually good, which is a shocker.
I might go back and
I'm just going to go through the highlights because obviously you have to go. First main highlight, Tanahashi announced his retirement, but it's not until 2026, so we have some time to wait. But I saw it coming. His knees have fumbled him too many times now, so yeah. What else was good? Shingo beat Oiwa, even though I did want Oiwa to win. He lost, which is very sad. Comeback of Wato and Yo. They both made their return from injury, which means the junior division is actually gonna be good now. Trying to think of what else happened that was good before I say the main highlight. Can't really think of anything else, so I'll just go to the main highlight. Zack Sabre Jr. won! He won the title
Woo.
from Naito. So it came home and he has the title again, which is brilliant. And then we had Sonada come out to say that their match on Sunday is going to be for the title. And then Shota Umino came out and got booed, even though he's meant to be the most loved person in New Japan. He got booed, so a bit of a character development there. And then Shingo came out because they all want to face Zack for the title, and Zack's like, "What is going on here?" So no clue what's happening next, but at least they're finally building competitors for the title. So yeah, Zack finally has a title. He did it after many, many years of not being pushed at all. And yeah, he just
Woo.
built TMDK as being the best stable ever, to which I agree.
So I actually might go back and watch that, to be honest.
Yeah,
and see what.
it was a very good show. I was very
Um,
chuffed with it.
If
It
not, I'll
was-
go just skip to the end and watch the main event.
Yeah.
So I think that is.
Because you've got to go. I would have gone into detail, but
No.
you've got to go. I was thinking about it.
Well, you have. So quickly, that's my Twitch. You know all the merches. You know where the Patreon is. That's our Instagram. That's my social media. That's probably one of the quickest I've ever done that.
That was.
But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you Sunday. I'll say that,
All right.
maybe. Okay. Bye, everyone.